But there were two other submissions. These are also finished products. You can find both of them on our D&D Time Discord. Again, you can jump there by going to dndtime.stream and clicking the Discord button here on our website, right there. And that was The Way of the Dancing Dragon and the Path of the Gentle Breeze. These were also 1-hour subclass concepts that were then refined and fleshed out by Frosty Pirate and V-Bunny. So we're going to briefly talk about those. And again, if you want to check these out and see all the other cool stuff that the creators made, you can do that on our Discord. So this is The Way of the Dancing Dragon. It's a monk subclass by V-Bunny. And let's talk about it. You know how to move like a dancing dragon? You are skilled in both the martial arts and the performance arts. Perhaps you are a mime, a performative dancer, a street performer, or even a ribbon dancer. You combine the graceful movements of your performances with the precise strikes of a well-trained warrior, and you know how to slow your performance or speed it up when necessary to strike at the right moment. I like that a lot.
It's
very
good.
Cool.
It's good text.
Really getting that dancing archetype that doesn't exist elsewhere in 5e and rolling with it.
This is a fun first feature here. When you choose this tradition at 3rd level, you gain proficiency in the performance skill if you don't already have it. Additionally, when you make a performance check, you can use your wisdom modifier instead of your charisma modifier for the roll. You also have proficiency in either whips or an instrument of your choice. Your choice counts as a monk weapon for you. Cool. Gives you a new style, a new way to interact in something that's going to make this thing iconic. Makes characters who pick this subclass stand out visually and flavor wise. So that's a great first feature there.
Yeah, I really like your choice counts as a monk weapon for you addition there. Just nice, clean, simple way of you're proficient with it and you're effective with it. Great addition. Really weird choice with using your using your wisdom instead of charisma for performance. I'm not sure I dislike it. It's just interesting. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly get it. I mean, it's the same idea I would say of using strength for intimidation.
Yeah, right.
I'm into it. It's just your martial arts look like a dance. You're not actually dancing. I like it a lot.
Dragon Rush at 3rd level. When you take the subclass, you gain the ability to channel the dancing dragon within. When you start your turn, you can spend 2 key points to gain the following benefits, which last until the end of your turn. If you move 20 feet before you hit a creature with flurry of blows, you can add 1 martial arts die of damage you deal on the first strike you hit with. Awesome idea. I like that a lot. I like that you use the martial arts die too. Cool way to have it scale. And then if you take the dash action, you can gain the benefits of flurry of blows to make 2 attacks the bonus action without having to take the attack action or spend a key point. Very cool. Very cool. And when you use a bonus action to use flurry of blows, you can gain the benefits of the disengage or dodge actions. Dodge is really powerful there.
Yes.
But otherwise, I really like the direction you've gone here. It's very cool.
I was a little bit wary on the first one. The 1 martial arts die of damage on the flurry of blows, because it already costs 2 key points, and then you have to get there. But I think you have enough things that reduce the key points and give you the value out of Dragon Rush, even though that one is a little bit of a tax on it. Or I guess that first one isn't if you're doing the dash. Okay, here's my advice to you, buddy. I would just actually switch the order of the second feature and the first feature, because the second feature kind of enables the first one. And that would just make it, that was what was confusing me, actually. So I think just switch the order of those 2 features, but they work well together, and it's, I think, a well-designed thing on the whole.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's weird that those 2 work together. I mean, I like it.
So at the end of the day, what you're getting is 2 key points to dash and make 2 unarmed strikes every turn if you want to.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, that's definitely the thing. So you can make 2 unarmed strikes per turn and take a dash action.
Well,
on that same
super
turn.
mobile is really the key.
And one of them does an extra martial arts dice of damage.
Yep. You also give them Dragon Technique. Starting at 6th level, you can strike like a dragon. When you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by a flurry of blows, you can spend 1 key point to impose one of the following effects on that target until the end of its turn. It must succeed on a con save or become blinded or deafened. It must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it cannot make more than one attack on its turn. It has disadvantage on wisdom checks and saving throws it makes. This is cool, but I think this last one actually has some value, but the problem with the first two is Stunning Strike is also one key point, right? So it's like, for the same key, you'd stun them rather than blind, deafen, or make them make only one attack. Yeah, I'm just a little confused. I guess I worry that Stunning Strike, which you get a level before this, kind of outclasses both of these almost strictly. I guess blinded or deafened could have other value that's not
Strictly
just combat oriented.
Yeah, but for the most part, I mean, I think it's definitely intended to be a combat feature. Stunning Strike is just so powerful.
I see. V-Bunny's saying you could double up just to guarantee something happens. I get that, but
well, also you could just Stunning Strike twice is the thing.
Oh, he's saying you could do both of them just on the same attack as a Stunning Strike.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's a bit much.
I don't know if that's like that seems like it's not a good enough reason to justify having those extra features on there. And also, I think disadvantage on wisdom saving throws is a pretty dangerous thing to put on a non-save based just effect. Wisdom checks and saving throws.
Oh, jeez, that's very strong. Yeah.
That one is extremely powerful. Not necessarily for the monk that's using it, but more for just synergies with your allies casting powerful like save or die spells. Like a lot of the late game ones. I mean, wisdom is probably the most hit saving throw. Dominates, stuff like that.
I think you're right, V-Bunny, right? There are situations where it's like, oh, let me punch the big bad and blind them so my allies can sneak past them and disrupt the ritual going on, right? So maybe there is use to blinded and deafened, but it's a very niche. I think most people, when they read this, would just be confused and they'd be wondering, well, how is this different? This just seems worse than Stunning Strike, which I already have. Just kind of our 2 cents there. Nightly performance. Beginning at 11th level, you can perform a display of your skills while taking a short or long rest. Any ally who sees monk performing regains extra hit points equal to your martial arts die if it regains any hit points at the end of the rest. The monk can confer this benefit on itself. Additionally, if an ally chooses not to regain hit points during a short or long rest, you can instead confer upon them temporary hit points equal to your wisdom modifier plus half your monk level rounded up, which lasts until their next short or long rest. That seems really, really powerful for an 11th level feature. That specifically the 10 hit points part. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
So it's just every time, presumably, every time you rest at full health, you gain temporary hit points,
HP.
And that everyone in your party would. Correct? Any ally.
Yeah, I think that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
And that number's when you get an 11th level. What presumably, if you're maxing out your wisdom, which I don't know if monks usually max out their wisdom, so I'll just say 3.
No,
3 plus 5, so 8. You just get 8 temporary hit points all the time. I mean, every time and you can do it every time you short rest too. That's probably a little much.
Yeah, the first half I think worked really well. The second half is just maybe a little too strong. You want to take Draconic Performance, Pete?
Yeah. At 17th level, you gain the ability to channel the dragon spirits within. As an action, you can spend 3 key points to draw on this power and exude a burst of awe or fear, your choice, in a 15-foot radius centered on you. Each creature in an area must succeed on a wisdom saving throw versus your key save DC, or drop whatever it is holding and become charmed, awe, or frightened fear for 1 minute. This effect ends on a target after 1 minute if it takes any damage, if you attack it, or if it witnesses you attacking or damaging any of its allies. While charmed in this way, the target idolizes you. It speaks glowingly of you to anyone who speaks to it, and must take the dash action and move towards you through the safest available route on each of its turns, unless there's nowhere to move. And while frightened of you in this way, a creature must take the dash action and move away from you by the safest available route on each of its turns, unless there is nowhere to move. At the end of each of its turns, the creature can repeat the wisdom saving throw, and the effect ends on a success. If a target succeeds on its saving throw, the target has no hint that you tried to charm or fear it. A creature that succeeds on this saving throw is immune to the effect of Draconic Performance for 24 hours. Once you've used this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. All right, that's quite a feat. There's a lot going on in this one. So it's this is a very big effect. A couple of very quick notes to start off with. I think the key points might want to be brought up on this. And I think you don't need a creature that succeeds on this saving throw is immune to the effects for 24 hours. I think it's good enough if you can only do it once per long rest.
Yeah, I think that's fair. This seems kind of similar to the Bard.
Dark Delirium?
No, the Bard. The Glamour Bard.
The Glamour Bard final feature. I can't remember a lot of that.
No, not the final feature. The enthralling performance.
The enthralling performance, yeah.
Oh, and I see you took a lot of ideas from that, actually. Yeah, the thing that's weird about this is like I'm just a little confused. So I guess
it's
yeah.
I mean, it's how long the effect lasts for 1 minute. I don't see a lot of the use case for this. Like it's like weirdly powerful and not at the same time.
In combat or out of combat. I guess that's where I'm confused, right? Because specifically this, or if it witnesses you attacking or damaging any of its allies,
implies that it's a combat feature.
That it's not a combat feature, right?
Well, it's
also weird that
Here's the use case that I see of this being very powerful and that is you're in a combat and things aren't going great, and then you Draconic Performance and scare away all the enemies for 1 minute, and they just have to run away from you for a whole minute.
It's weird. It's weird though, because it's like a turn effect. This is like a everything turn effect.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's actually really what it comes down to. Is this is a turn for all things. And turn effects are really good.
Yeah, it's just a little strange. I'm just not sure how to feel about it.
So yeah, it probably needs to come up in key points, and I don't know how I would change this to make it work a little bit more for me, but I'm a little bit it just seems like a little bit too powerful of an effect too. Like I don't know if an effect like this could function on the scale,
key, right? It's a big thing. There's a lot to think about with this.
But definitely, I would definitely bring up the key though as a first step.
Yeah, 3 is I think too low. Anywho, thank you very much, everybody, for sharing. Yeah. It's very, very neat concept here. I like that you did keep the performance aspect kind of as a through line, and you did do a good way to. You did make that like a through line. I like that a lot, keeping the whole dancing aspect as a core. We also had The Path of the Gentle Breeze by Frosty Pirate. And this is the second thing we seem to do with Frosty tonight. You are the gentle breeze which calms the hearts of men and beasts. To walk the path of the gentle breeze is to lead a life adverse to violence and conflict, and to encourage both allies and enemies to abstain from such acts. A monk on the path of the gentle breeze attempts to dissuade violence at every opportunity, but will protect that which they cherish when diplomacy fails. I like that. Welcome back, me. Yeah, exactly, Frosty. We looked at some of these already, and I can see the bonus proficiencies didn't really change from last time. It's still persuasion and
calligrapher's tools.
Calligrapher's tools.
And they didn't need to.
Pacifism. Oh?
And they didn't need to. Those are good picks.
Yeah, they didn't need to. Exactly. Art of Pacifism doesn't look like it really changed. The same spells, aid, calm emotions, hold person. They work very well. You gave them the friends cantrip if they don't already know it. That's a dangerous one. I didn't notice that last time. I don't know if that was a new addition, because friends makes you mad when it runs out. Like it makes conflict.
Yeah, Friends is a. I Jeremy, do you like the Friends cantrip?
I hate it. I
I
don't
do
like it at
too.
all.
I just think like it's just such like a it's just such a
Well,
trap that people end up falling into.
Friends is like the purpose of it, right? Is you're walking down the street, you go to the vendor's stall, and the vendor's like, it's 30 gold for a health potion. And you're like, oh, but we're good friends. It's like, all right, fine.
Yeah, I mean,
And you buy the potion and you start walking down the street, and the vendor's like, hey,
get back here.
guards, they stole my, I don't know, like, they purchased it from me perfectly legally, but I gave them a discount I didn't want to. You know, just like,
yeah, I mean, like that's the intended use case, but I feel like what actually happens with it is they use it as players just use it on an NPC, like, and then forget that it's going to have that awful effect on the other side of it, and then it's kind of more of like it feels more like a DM gotcha than a cool story thing, like.
mhm.
Anyway, that's my little sidebar about not liking the Friends cantrip. But let's talk. Passive Palms is the 6th level feature. At 6th level, you're able to dissuade enemy attacks by deflecting them with a gentle palm. As a reaction, you can spend 2 key points to impose disadvantage on a creature within 5 feet. If the attack misses, the creature cannot target the same creature with an attack until the beginning of their next turn.
Nice.
cool
Very good.
change.
Very good, but I think like when you look at the other spells, calm emotions, aid, those help in combat, but there's not a lot of combat oomph here at 3rd level like some of the other monk subclasses get. That's a very powerful feature as for that 6th level thing, but I think it works. I think that like is okay, especially for the 2 key point cost there that you gave.
Agree. 2 is a heavy tax to use it, but it is very good, so
but
it
the
makes
effect
sense.
is real good.
Yeah. Do you want to do Sanctuary of Peace?
By 11th level, you've become skilled at protecting your allies as well as yourself from attacks. As an action, you can spend 1 key point and begin a deep rhythmic chant, which lasts 1 minute or until you choose to end it. During the chant, you are incapacitated, and you and every ally within 30 feet of you are subject to the effects of the Sanctuary spell. If a warded creature makes an attack, casts a spell that affects an enemy, or deals damage to another creature, they are unaffected by the chant for the rest of the duration. Ooh, goodness gracious, that's a tough one.
I think this is closer. This is definitely closer to the mark. I remember the last one I think was just like it was just a more perfect version of this. I think that just made it so things couldn't attack. It's an action. You spend 1 key point.
Yeah, I would not ever want to use this feature because then I wouldn't do anything.
That's yeah, that's the point. It's like this is one of those things where if you're picking the subclass, presumably you are cool with that and you're into that aesthetic a little bit. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm on the same page as you, Jeremy. As I wouldn't want to use a feature where I'm incapacitated because it's not as fun.
The challenge of pacifism in a combat focus, which D&D is a combat focused tabletop role-playing game, or any role-playing game for that matter, is finding a way to make this pacifism engaging. And I get where you're trying to go for here. Yes, this is pacifism, but it just doesn't seem like I'd want to ever do it. Like, it doesn't seem fun to me to use. And maybe that's me, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how strong this is if I don't even know if this is a problem if it didn't incapacitate you, frankly. I just don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on.
I don't have the answers for this one.
I'm on the same page. I don't know if I want. Never mind. I know that I wouldn't want to be incapacitated with my cool feature. Is kind of where I'm at. But let's look at the 17th level feature here, the Pressure Point Petrification. I like the name of that. I like the 3 Ps there.
I do as well.
At 17th level, you gain the ability to attack a creature's nervous system with pinpoint strikes. When you hit a creature with an attack, you can spend 3 key points to send a key shock through their body in an attempt to petrify them. When you use this action, the creature must make a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, it becomes petrified for 1 hour. If it succeeds, it becomes restrained until the beginning of its next turn. Huge or larger creatures have advantage on this save. You can only have one creature under the effect of this feature at a time. I like this a lot. I think that just restraining a creature guaranteed for one turn is kind of a cool like fallback for, oh, I used my big key spending feature, endgame feature, and it missed, and now I don't have it. Like, I like that kind of, well, worst case scenario, you used your best thing and you at least kept him still for a turn. And I
This is
think
it. Oh, sorry.
my last comment I was going to say is, I don't know if you need to have that last feature on it, and it also kind of like breaks verisimilitude a little bit, because I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
This is really cool because I think this does exactly what we just said. This is making pacifism engaging.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
preventing the creature from acting in a way that like is really cool and unique. So I think in that regard, good idea. From a balance perspective, it's 3 key points to save or die effectively. I mean, not quite, but similar. I know compared to the open hand with its quivering palm, it's a similar vibe. But Quivering Palm also takes 2 turns to set up, 1 turn for the attack, and another turn for the action to activate the Quivering Palm. And so if you're going to do this all in one action, I think either the key point count might need to go up.
I think that's the place to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you gave huge or larger creatures advantage in the save too. Like, there are things in here that I think work to pull the power out a little bit, but this maybe needs to be like 4 key.
I was even thinking 5.
5 is just so much because you only ever get 20.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the I'm really
The
into
thing
that.
I see this is cool with, right, is you're petrifying the underlings, right, of the big bad, and then you go to fight the big bad. Now that you've petrified his minions, that sounds right to me.
You want it to. I mean, I guess it would just be then like, I mean, you could go in the direction that me and you have gone before, where it's you have to use this on a creature of a certain CR, and then you can have it be a low key point thing. But I don't know if that's right for this particular.
Yeah, another thing I would recommend, because it's when you hit a creature with an attack, I think what you can say is, as an action, you can make special pinpoint strikes which which send reverberations to the creature's body in an attempt to petrify them. Right? Make it a specific action to try this petrification rather than, well, also while you attack. I think that's another way to take that down a notch in terms of the power level of it.
And as much as I like the petrification thing, it might.
Oh no, I like it a lot. What are you doing?
I do too. I was gonna say paralyze might make more sense. Like, that's kind of more the thing that you usually see. You just like petrification.
Well, I mean, petrification works so well for like the purpose of the pacifism. I think it like is very fitting.
I don't know.
And let's be honest, it's not overpowered.
Paralyzing just seems more like what I would think. Like a key shock, and you're like hitting the pressure points, and then they can't move. Feels more like a paralysis to me than, because I think petrification very much does in 5e mean like turn to stone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so this literally you think this literally turns you to stone? I thought it was meant to represent an abstract inability to not move.
Turns you to stone.
Is this true, Froxy? Does this turn you to stone?
That's what I liked about this. It's very cool. It's you're forever prevented from continuing your violence, right? Because with paralysis, the difference between paralysis and like stun is they're the same, except people can murder you when you're paralyzed super easily. Petrification keeps you from being murdered too. I think it works really well, like mechanically and thematically.
I didn't know that it was actually going to turn you to stone. I thought this was meant to just be like a more abstract way of saying that you can't move.
I like it a
lot. Yeah, I mean, if that's the intent, then that's the intent. I get you.
I don't know if this is good design or not, but I would be tempted to put, if the creature fails by 5 or more, the petrification is indefinite. But that's something that I would be very into. I don't know if that's actually good design.
It's probably a lot, yeah.
Places, but I think it's very cool.
If you want to go about another way, Jeremy was talking about the multi-turn setup. Paralysis, petrification often has a multi-turn setup
It's true.
where you have to like fail the save twice to fail.
Oh, that would be very cool.
So maybe that's a way that you could buff this up, or nerf this a little bit without adjusting.
Yeah, right. As an action, you pick a creature, and then when you hit it with its 3 consecutive attacks, something happens or something. Could be cool. I don't know. There's a lot of cool ways you can adjust this, but overall, I think you're going in the right direction. Sanctuary of Peace is the only real problem left here. Petrification is just a small balance quibble.
Yeah, pressure point petrification I think is a really cool feature. And again, I just want to highlight that if it succeeds, it becomes restrained until the beginning of its next turn one more time, because like a half, like you still get something out of it on these big one-use endgame features is a great direction to go for everyone.
Yeah, good design.
I recommend that for everyone, myself included, taking a note from it.
And yeah, that was the Way of the Gentle Breeze. By the way, just as a minor note, I think the monastic traditions are a path, right?
Wait, I think they're ways. That's what's called. No, the path.
You're right.
It's
their ways. That's the other one. The other one's a path. So Viva, just a note for yours, which was the
you're thinking primal path, and then monastic tradition, and monastic tradition are ways of.
Yeah, no, V-Buddies was the
Way of the Dancing Dragon?
I see. No, it wasn't. V-Buddies was correct. Frosty just renamed it to Way of the Gentle Breeze before it was Path of the Gentle Breeze. I knew I wasn't crazy. All right. Either way.
Either way.
Thanks for putting this together, Frosty. I'm
way,
really happy to see where it went.
Yes, I like the direction. I think you're actually very close to making something that feels like it's role-playing pacifism and still works,
Absolutely. We're going to be right back, I think.
That's what I was just going to say.
Quick break, and when we come back, homework time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about y'all's homework. I'm really excited to see all of these spells. I kept looking at them and almost reading. I was like, no, it won't spoil. I'm waiting and read them on the day. So I'm excited to see what everyone came up with.
All right, we'll see y'all in just a minute.